Good morning, one and all. As you can see here, I've been sent this loads of times on Facebook. Please do not watch any BBC channel on Friday the 21st of June in protest that the government has withdrawn the funding for people 75 and over to have a free TV licence. All this to claw back 700,000 from our pensioners. I'm starting this and asking everyone to share this and get it all over the country. Let's look after our pensioners. Now, it's quite ironic this, because I don't watch any TV. Well, it's not quite true. I just don't watch any live TV. I download anything that I want to watch, because for a start, if it's on ITV, Channel 4, the adverts do my head in. They are full of propaganda, and I just can't do with it. Having said that, there is a series I recommend. Right from the season 1, it's just finished season 6 at the moment, and that's The Blacklist. Absolutely amazing from episode 1 onwards. In fact, episode 1 will have you enthralled by it on its own. It's about a guy that's not a good guy, but you do get to like him because he loves a certain one and will do anything to protect them. No one should be watching any TV because it is a propaganda show. I've recently been sent a link to a new upcoming film with John Cusack in about, I think it's called Cell. It's where they show you the cell phone actually controls the people, and this is so blatantly obvious for anyone that has eyes to see. How many times have you seen people walking down the road with the phone like this, and they're oblivious to everything else going on? They've usually got earphones in as well, so they can't hear or see anything. And yes, it is a control mechanism, and unfortunately, I've seen a couple I've seen many actually, sat in a pub. A couple, like I'm talking to you, and they're going, yeah, the phones are controlling them. Towards the end of this, I'm going to give you something a little bit more inspirational, but for the time being, as you can see here, this is a very apt picture, and if you can't name every single one of those evil satanic bastards, you've not been paying attention, apart from the one that's about to kill the baby, of course, because his face is hidden. And I did like the actual thing in the background, the shadow there. If you don't know what that is, again, you need to do a little bit more research. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable. George Orwell. Andrea Leadsom called for minimum wage and maternity pay to be scrapped for small businesses, while I can see how that would benefit small businesses. It doesn't benefit those doing the work, does it? People working for the UK's smallest business would be stripped of their right to a minimum wage, maternity leave and protection from unfair dismissal under plans previously backed by one of the favourites to become the next Tory leader and Prime Minister. Speaking in 2012, Andrea Leadsom told the House of Commons that she would like business with 3 employees or fewer to no longer have to comply with any employment regulations. That is called slavery. Alert: certified organic food from the US found contaminated with glyphosate. Thanks for the guy pointing out that I was pronouncing that wrong, by the way. Think you can avoid glyphosate? That's what I used to say. By buying organic, think again. A new investigation by Tropical Traditions reveals that many products in the organic grain market in the US contain glyphosate residue at levels almost the same as conventional grains. Links in description if you want to read the full story. The corruption just gets worse and worse. Imagine you were running a company and you decided you were going to do something different, and it failed, and it cost you and me £126,000. No comeback whatsoever, because, as you can see, failed Nottinghamshire Super Council plan cost £126,000, and some estimate it cost could be many thousands of pounds more, and it will have been. But when you're one of in the criminal cartel, you can spend as much as you want to, because it's not their money, it's our money, and they don't give a shit about wasting it. For instance, when the corrupt Nottingham City Council decided to go over to China for 2 weeks, and the former leader decided to take his daughter as his personal assistant. It's called a holiday, and we get to pump up the costs. A plan to create a new super council for Nottinghamshire cost £126,000 before it was shelved last year. One council leader described it as a total waste of council money. Well, that's a lie for a start. It's not council money, it's our money. But you see how they think it's theirs. After a Freedom of Information request revealed £126,137 was spent on outside contractors to put the scheme together. Because, you know, we're too frigging dumb to figure it out ourselves, so we'll spend £126,000 on someone figuring it out, and then we'll realise it's a shit idea and we're all twats, the council may have said. The real cost is more likely to be many thousands more, because top level officers, military term there, officers, at Nottinghamshire County Council were heavily involved in drawing up the plan, which was opposed by many district and borough councils. The controversial scheme proposed by the Conservative-run Nottinghamshire County Council involved dissolving borough councils, district councils and county council itself. These would then have been replaced by one county-wide authority covering all of Nottinghamshire apart from the city. No, because the city scumbags, they're the biggest corrupt bastards on the planet. Ours are anyway, and I suspect yours are as well. Supporters said it would save millions in long run by removing duplication and make services more streamlined. Bullshit. But critics argued it would erode local decision making and be hugely costly and bureaucratic to set up. One world government, one central council. Can you see where they were going with this? Councillor John Clark is the Labour leader of Gedling Borough Council, which opposed the plan. They just waste money because it doesn't come out. If they got the pay halved if they made a mistake, you watch how many mistakes they'd make. 0. Our secret dirty war. 5 British Special Forces troops are wounded in Yemen while advising Saudi Arabia on their deadly campaign that has brought death and famine to millions. At least 5 British Special Forces commandos have been wounded in gun battles as part of the top secret UK military campaign in Yemen, the Mail on Sunday can reveal. Our government are a bunch of corrupt terrorists. There's no point calling them a government, they're just terrorists. Elite Special Boat Service, that's the SBS as opposed to the SAS, troops whose presence in the war-ravaged country is shrouded in secrecy suffered gunshot injuries in fierce clashes with Iranian-backed rebel militia and in recent months. Now, again there, you've got to see the keyword. The keyword there is Iranian, because they want war with Iran, so it's Iranian-backed militia. It's just there in your face, but most don't see it. The SBS men were treated for leg and arm wounds following the battles in the Sadr area of northern Yemen, where up to 30 crack British troops are based. The casualties are understood to be now recovering in the UK. Why are we, in a country that has been destroyed virtually by Saudi Arabia, putting our troops in there because we're run by a bunch of satanic bastards. On a good note, baking soda can successfully eliminate up to 96% of pesticides from vegetables and fruits. Researchers have found that baking soda can successfully eliminate up to 96% of pesticides from vegetables and fruits. In fact, studies have shown that baking soda is even more effective at removing pesticides than regular bleaching procedures. Since baking soda is highly alkaline, it is able to neutralize pesticides by breaking them down into molecules. University of Massachusetts published a study on the effects of baking soda and gala apples. In the study, gala apples were sprayed with two types of pesticides: Fosmet, which is a known insecticide, it's a poison, and thibendazole, a fungicide, poison. After penetrating apple peels, apples were rinsed with 3 liquids: tap water, baking soda, water solution, and the most popular bleaching solution. The results confirmed that the baking soda solution removed the most pesticide residue from apples. How to use baking soda to remove pesticide from your fruits and vegetables: simply add a few tablespoons of baking soda to a bowl of water. Place the produce in the solution to soak for a few minutes. Rinse with cold water. Cost effective and very powerful. The only problem with that is, if you're going to do it, and we should all be doing this to get rid of the poison that they are trying to kill us with, get a jug of water or whatever, tap water if you want to. Leave it on the side for at least an hour to let the chlorine, another poison, evaporate, and then rinse. Otherwise you're pouring more poison back on their food. Links in description for that one. That should be very popular. Amazing new paste from Japan heals cavities without drilling, and there's the pictures to show you and prove it. A team of researchers in Japan led by Kazu Yamagashi, DMD, have come up with a special paste that regenerates the tooth enamel, causing teeth to self-repair. This is an astonishing discovery. Did you know that 60% of dental therapy is said to be a retreatment of teeth that have already been treated? This is because dental fillings materials such as resin or metal alloy are totally different from a tooth and in composition and structure, and those differences cause tooth decay at the point where the two materials make contact. It's a long subject. I'm going to links in description. Go there, read it. Exclusive: the areas at risk of vote rigging ahead of local elections and EU referendum. But wait a minute, we've already had a referendum and we voted to leave, and the criminal, traitors, treasonous bastards in Parliament haven't done it. So what do we need to do? Have another referendum? No. Remove Parliament for good. They are treasonous bastards, every single one of them. Counter-fraud operations and foot patrols are being carried out by police in 16 key neighbourhoods where vote rigging could influence the outcome of a EU referendum, Express can reveal. Burnley, Hydeburn, Pendle, Blackburn with Darwen, Bradford, Calderdale, Oldham, Kirklees, Derby, Walsall, Peterborough, Birmingham, Slough, Woking, Tower Hamlets. And there's something else that ties all them places together, but I'll leave you to figure that out. Forces up and down the country are launching a major crackdown on election fraud amid concerns dubious and even illegal practices relating to postal ballot and block voting could swing the historic result. We've already had the result. We voted to leave. Officers are stepping up their investigation ahead of 2 key elections in a matter of weeks, starting with today's local elections and followed by the June 23rd EU referendum. This was 2016. But, of course, as we know, it makes no difference because they vote to do whatever they want. Fact: as Congress holds hearing on weather manipulation, weather modification just jumped from chemtrail conspiracy theory into mainstream reality as Congress holds hearing on geoengineering. And if you're trying to get it out there that they're poisoning us from up there, then don't call it chemtrails, because the first thing that comes up is conspiracy theory, as we just did. If you call it geoengineering or poisoning of the population, it's a different thing. Washington DC geoengineering is finally going mainstream as the US House Subcommittee on Environment and Subcommittee on Energy hearing on Wednesday held the first House hearing about the science that until now has generally been considered a conspiracy theory and relegated to the fringes of society by the Praetorian Guard mainstream media controlled by the ruling power elite oligarchy. There you got it in black and white. They control the papers. The controversial subject of climate engineering or weather modification, which was popularised and oversimplified with the term chemtrails, is stepping from the shadows and into the light of public scrutiny for the first time. You're mad, you are! They're trying to kill us, you're mad, they say. A satanic idol goes to the Arkansas Capitol building. How evil are they? This is so in your face as well. A bronze statue of a satanic goat monster Baphomet was unveiled Thursday at the Arkansas Capitol building in front of cheering crowd of free speech activists and a smaller crowd of unhappy people holding handwritten Bible verses. The nearly 8-foot tall statue, brief public appearance, marked the culmination of 3 years effort for the Satanic Temple to bring in it there. Below this is the story of Baphomet's journey to the Little Rock, Clintons, told with as many sinister goat images as possible. Baphomet was born in Detroit. Well, technically, his history dates back to the 12th century Europe, when the Catholic Church, oh, what a shock, accused blasphemers of worshipping the idol, according to the BBC. Whether any Satanists actually did worship Baphomet is an open question, and he didn't acquire his popular goat human avatar until an occultist author made it up in the 19th century. And then somewhere in Detroit in the summer of 2015, this happened. Single mother wins court battle after being forced into homelessness due to housing benefit shortfall. A single mother who was forced out of her home because of a shortfall in her housing benefit has won a legal challenge against her local council's decision to treat her and her children as intentionally homeless. And this is what they do, these friggin' wankers in councils. If you run short of money, you can't pay your mortgage, you get evicted, or you move out if you're daft enough to. The councils say, you've done that deliberately. You deliberately couldn't afford to pay your mortgage, so therefore we're classing you as deliberately homeless. This is a big step. The woman, known only as Miss Samuels, was using non-housing benefit intended to cover other living costs like food and clothing to cover the £35 weekly gap between her housing benefit and her rent. While she lost her private tenancy, the mother of four approached Birmingham City Council for homeless assistance, explaining that she could not meet the shortfall. Her request was refused by a corrupt bunch of overpaid wankers. Non-housing benefit to plug her shortfall. The council also decided she had intentionally become homeless. You bunch of wankers. You need to be all in jail. Britain's highest court has now decided the council approach was unlawful. I find it hard to see on what basis the finding of intentional homelessness could be properly upheld, Lord Carnwath said as he delivered the Supreme Court judgment. Now, if you've been in that situation, it's time to sue the council, because they're a bunch of, well, you know what they are. Radiation emitted from smart meters 100 times greater than cell phones, and exposure is constant, doctors warn. Natural News. Energy companies are billing them as the green solution to traditional meters. They're murder weapons. But as are so-called smart meters really all that smart? No. And more importantly, are they really as safe as we're being told they are? No. Some 65 million American homes already have them. and more are being converted all the time, even against the will of some homeowners. If you've got a smart meter and you're starting to feel ill, it's because of the smart meter, because it's a smart kill meter. My severely disabled 12-year-old son had his mobility allowance stopped today after almost 12 years. George has been receiving mobility allowance after contracting meningitis and being left brain damaged, deaf, epileptic, peg-fed, non-verbal and unable to walk in 2008. Today his payment was not paid, so I phoned up to be told he had a form sent to him in December to renew his claim. George now has to go through the whole process again to prove his disability for mobility allowance. There were no reminders, according to the lady on the phone. It was just that one form in December, and guess what? If it gets lost in the post, they don't give a shit. They're just going to cut your money anyway. Israeli politician calls on UN to stop using the term occupation. What do you call a bunch of wankers that invade another country and then claim God said it was theirs? Yeah, Zionist wankers. Not the Israelis. Many of them are actually good men and women and children, but there are some that are so deeply brainwashed they believe the shit pumped out by the Zionists. That'll have to be bleeped. Israeli Deputy Former Minister Tzipi Hotovli has called on the United Nations to stop using the term occupation in reference to Israeli control over Palestinian lands. What do you want us to use? This God's chosen land for the chosen. Yeah, right. The senior official claimed that the international organisation has been lured to repeating the Palestinian propaganda you couldn't make this shit up vocabulary, and claimed that Israel does not occupy the land of anyone. Okay, but it's Palestinian land and you're illegally occupying it. That would make you an illegal occupier, and this is why whenever you get a letter it comes to the occupier, because we're all classed as illegally occupying your home. Because the terrorists, simply terrorists, government that is. As a proof, this year marks the 50th anniversary of Israel's liberation of Jerusalem and the West Bank, she claimed. Liberation? You mean occupation, invasion? Her remarks came in response to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who accused the Israeli occupation of putting more burdens on the Palestinians and preventing them from developing. Links in the description if you want to read the rest. The Times. AI signals end of pain to leaves on the line. Talk shit. I don't know what that picture is, but it don't look good. Johnson won't roll out suspending Parliament. Leadership front runner privately insists he could force through no deal Brexit, sources claim. Top Mandarin snubs Tory revivals. Express. Mrs Thatcher would have given up EU brigands. What for? MPs kick out Labour's attempt to block no deal. Boris warns of mortal retribution if we don't quit. Yeah, you're all gone. Victory for Brexit. Really? Can anyone see a victory? Does it look like we've left, since we've just been tied into hundreds of millions of pounds for the EU dictatorship army? Boris' third lady step into spotlight. Unfortunately, she looks a bit too young for him, so I guess he's another paedophile. The Guardian. Labour defeat hands boost to hard Brexit candidates. Most meat in 2040 will not be from animals. Well, that's a good thing, although, Attempt to box in new PM fails on day Johnson launches his campaign. New PM already? It's like it's a done deal, like they know what's going to happen. Because they do. Any Tory leadership candidate shouldn't know Parliament will continue to fight against no deal. Well, Parliament wants to be abolished then, doesn't it? Crash puts Chris Froome out of Tour de France. Telegraph. Now is the time to remember our duty to the people. If only. Unlike my Maybot, he can lift your heart. This was Boris Prime Minister in waiting. Folic acid in flour to cut birth defects. That's a lie. It's poison. Right. It's against the European Convention on Human Rights. It's against the Universal Declaration of Human Rights because they are forcibly medicating us all. Blunt response to police knife scheme. Greens Aradea lives to fight another day. Froome to miss tour after Metro. Johnson dodges question over his use of cocaine. They're all druggies because they have to take the drugs to get them out of the fact that they're all satanic bastards that murder, rape and abuse children. That's why they take the drugs. Just say no, Boris. Yeah, as if he could. Mirror. The lying threat to Britain. Who's a snorting boy? In 2007, egomaniac Johnson vividly recalled taking cocaine, but yesterday he dodged drugs question as he launched his bid to be our next prime monster. A lot of people don't know we're married. Suki Webster on working with Paul Merton. How Zebra's got their stripes. Deborah Orr on the Oxfam scandal. Incompetent Tories not up to the job, admits Javid. Home Secretary launches his leadership campaign with startling admission about government and its failure to deliver Brexit. Johnson launched is torpedoed by the Chancellor, who warns that the front-runner will dive Britain off a cliff edge at speed. Confidential cabinet note warn of border chaos and shortages of... Oh, piss off, you lying bunch of propaganda shit sheets. Froome, yeah. Police fire rubber bullets in Hong Kong protests. Green light, Sir Philip saves his high street empire. He should be in jail. Rich benefit most from help to buy. GPs investigated over ghost patient fraud. They're all corrupt. Daily fail. Boris blast off. So how did his young girlfriend tame him in time for the big launch? Yeah, because it's clearly his look she's into, not to do with the fact he's rich. Ministers praise Mail's campaign as she pledges fairer pay for local postmasters. Victory on post officers. The scum. Utter scum. Boris' #1 fan. Eat tuna and live longer, except the fact that it's all got radiation now because of Fukushima, which no one's talking about. They just want to leave that, don't tell you about that. Calls for cop probe. Joe's acid tongue. Fury as BBC star sick Brexiteer jibe. Kate White stripes. Should be black, the satanic bitch. Waste of paper. Here we Joe. More makes her move. White saviour row. Kicked in the doolies. Comic relief to stop sending celebs to Africa. You shouldn't be giving anything to Comic Relief because BBC just pocket the money. Family up my street. Yeah. FT. Police launch. Lash out at Hong Kong protests. Johnson eases no deal rhetoric as leak warns Britain unprepared. Favourite kicks off Tory bid. Disorderly exit last resort. Border work. Yeah, bullshit. Arcadia avoids collapse after landlords agree to rent cuts and store closures. Redcliffe races beyond the fold for new chief. All corporations should be shut down for good. And almost finally. I was going to make a joke about this, but that would be silly, wouldn't it? Don't blame me because you enjoy wasting your money. How many times I've seen that happen as well. And you thought your neighbourhood was bad. And finally, all this stuff that's just gone on and all the stuff I always talk about, it's just shit, really. What you've got to do is, you should know about it. You should know what's going on, but don't let it take up your time. because when you think about it, you're giving it power. Start from now on thinking more positively. Yeah, I know that shit's going on, but I'm not going to let it control my life. I'm going to think about more positive things. And I'll give you an example. Have you ever been thinking about a friend that you've not seen for a while, or something like that, and suddenly you get a phone call out of the blue, or you bump into them? Well, that's called the law of attraction. So when you're giving your energy to this sort of stuff, you're empowering this sort of stuff. You're bringing it towards you, into your reality. It's time. We need to know about it, but we start being more positive. We start thinking more positive. We start thinking about the good that's going on, and the fact that the whole system is about to collapse. The Bilderbergers are terrified because they strongly suspect that once it comes out, everybody realises what's going on, they're all going to be hung. And to be fair, many of them should do, but that is just the quick way out. If you want more about this sort of thing, look up on YouTube Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction, and you'll find amazing stuff about what we are capable of if we put our energy into it. And some might say, well, if this is true, why haven't you won the lottery yet? And that's because we sabotage ourselves. We all want, well, many want to win the lottery, but deep in our head we think, well, what would happen? I'd probably die within a year because I'd be on the piss constantly, or I don't deserve it because whatever. We sabotage ourselves. Time to lose the negativeness and start concentrating more on the positive side of things. This bullshit that we're going through at the moment is coming to an end. They know it, I know it, and you know it. Let's speed it up by seeing in our mind the end of this bullshit that's going on, and the new Eden, if you like, where everything is how it was supposed to be until the Satanists took over. So we're going to get rid of them and install good men, women, not the corrupt bastards like Parliament, the good men and women that are out there, like you lot watching this, and me. I consider myself good. On that note as well, later on there will be, hopefully today, there will be a video coming out where I assisted someone who, some bailiffs who were actually decent when I got there. They weren't decent previous, but when I got there they became decent, and they said see ya as they drove away. Later all.